Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the last day on the beach, the last day where we'll be touching bottom, and we got to get the last bit of fairing done. The glass is all done, and to help us get this done, Brock, Nicole, and Marlo are here to join us. And Brock is the owner, of course, of Rain and Blues. I'll put another link in the description. He's got to set up a new Instagram now for just Rain and Blues, and you guys can hit him up because a lot of you have been hitting up his personal account, which, anyway, he's just figuring it out. But he's hard at work painting the boat today, and we're gonna do some fairing on this. We're gonna get it done. We're gonna get off the beach finally, and it's gonna be amazing. They're kind of small.
Hi.
Og mér finnst það eins og þú sjáir ekki alveg hvað það sem ég hef. Já, hvað það sem ég get. Svo hversu mikið þarf ég að leggja hart af mér til að ég fái smá sjens. Því vinna sem ég set langt yfir meðalagi. Já, þessi árangur hann alls ekki sjálfgefinn. Einn í stúdíói áfram eftir miðnætti. Einn dag ég verður þessi vinna öll að verðmæti. Svo gefðu mér bara smá stund, og ég lofa þú munt alls ekki sjá eftir því. Svo hvernig væri að treysta mér, og hvernig væri að treysta á mig, því ég á það skilið. Treysta mér, treysta mér, treysta mér. Já, ok, ég stefni upp á við því þannig var ég uppalinn. Hef engan tíma að missa úr þetta múliðinn. Mann, þegar að þau lét eins og ég væri ekki til, en fylgjast núna með mér því að ég framtíðin. Ég í leiðangri og ég læt ekki stöðva mig, nei. Eftir þennan pappír eins og hann ræningi, og ef ég geri mistök lofa ég að læra af þeim.
Alright, the Scallywag shipyard is closed, finally. This was our last real daytime tide that we're gonna get all season, so it's time to get both these boats out on anchor and out there and being actual boats again. Oh, it's exciting. Oh, it's only noon and I'm so tired already. No? No one sing with me?
What's right? What do you need?
Ég ekki eins og þeir, ég allt öðruvísi. Sinnum mig þá myndu sjá hvað þú saknar mín. Lítið sem ég skil þig að þú sé skilið við mig. Eina sem manneskjan gerir að hugsa sig. Heimurinn kaldur eins og mjólkur í skápnum, eða augun á okkur ef við sjáum hvort annað aftur. Heimurinn kaldur eins og vatn úr krananum, ef við snúum hæra hann fanginu. Ég vil hafa þig í fanginu mínu, en þeir örugglega slett saman. Manna við gerðum ekkert annað en að chilla saman. Senkum við flögt eins og heili minna nóttu til hann þvaka til á dag morgunin næsand engum áttum. Ég að reyna að skilja lífið, en ég bara verið skilja allt og lítið. Reiður til að hugsa ef að þú byrjar að spyrja, best að ég muni svara. Elskan að því bara.
Ég sagði elskan að því bara, best að gera mig út að sögja. Það varst alltaf að fara, eða ertu bara að dæra. Hvernig var að vera kjur í smá, mér liggur á, mér liggur á. Ég sagði elskan að því bara, þú veist að gera mig út að sögja. Það varst alltaf að fara, eða ertu bara að
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I got a funny little neighbor here in the bay. They're delivering a house, and they do this by barge. It's pretty wild. We had to clear out a bunch of boats, including mine and the Blues, and Brock and Nicole are gone now. So the last 48 hours has just been me working and then moving boats around to get this house in here. This thing's huge. All right, well, it's been a long day of work. We had to move a lot of boats to get that barge in and out of here. But yeah, including this one. And so I've moved myself, as you can see. I used to be moored way back there. And now I'm up in the windy corner of Dagnan Bay. So I'm hoping for a calm few days, something relaxing. And soon I will be leaving this bay to spend the winter somewhere else. Coming up in an upcoming video, I'll show you all that adventure. But for the time being, we are back on anchor. I've added 75 feet of chain to the front, so check this out. Over there I have backup anchor number 1. Here I have backup anchor number 2. And I'm currently sitting on the main anchor over here. So I'm currently running some big heavy chain. I did have 40 feet, I think, of chain before, and now I've added another 65, so I have over 100 feet of chain alone. And then I'm tied to rope. Eventually I will take half chain, half wire on that setup. This is the first time I've been on chain alone. I've always been on a little bit of chain and mostly some road. Road is like nylon 3-strand often is the stuff that I like to go for. It's the springiest and strongest, but braided nylon's also an option a lot of people use. Personally, I don't, there's not much of a price difference between braided nylon and 3-strand nylon. Braided nylon's nicer on the hands, but 3-strand, it's a bit stronger, so I tend to go for that. Thing is, when you're on a nylon rope, it's got a little bounce, it's got a lot of give. The chain doesn't. And so when I was in a bit of wind last night, I watched this thing slack up and then slam back onto its chain, and I watched the bow dip a good 18 inches, just thunk right in and back out again. And it was pretty awe-inspiring. I didn't know that anchor had that kind of holding power. I mean, this is like 16,000 pounds of boat slamming against it with all of its will there at about, I don't know, we were probably making 3 knots at that point when we hit that chain. So it's something. I mean, I guess that's really kind of normal, all things considered, but considering I don't even have a motor on this thing yet, it was pretty terrifying to me. Let me introduce you to the other thing I did that is causing a lot of noise. Forgive this mess, but check that out. And turn it off. Okay, I've done a temporary mock-up to test this out and see if it would work, because I just wasn't sure. I was playing around with it, and so far so good. So as you remember, my wood stove has a 3-inch stainless steel pipe coming out of it. Now, I found this pretty heavy gauge, the galvanized steel, but a much thicker steel pipe. And so I thought, you know, it'd be really cool if I had forced air along that pipe to pull every ounce of heat off of there. So a while back, a fan named Jay sent out a lot of leftover fans and resistors and stuff that he had lying around, including this kind of server fan. Now this pulls 2.7 amps at full speed, and it's a 100mm fan, and that's like 4 inches, I think. So basically, I think it burns about 31 or 32 watts at full speed, but at full speed, it pumps quite a lot of air. Now, I had a few other options for 4-inch fans like this, but this one is, believe it or not, the quietest for this level of airflow. What I'm going to do eventually is try to put a dimmer on it and see if I can just kind of set the scene, because check this out, I'll power it on, you'll hear what I mean. So that's full speed, and yeah, it's kind of loud. But if I really want to heat this place up quick, that will do it. But if I wire one of these up in the future on some other system, I'm going to make sure it's a little bit more inconspicuous, because this thing, yeah, it's loud. Before I go and tackle the mess that is this boat, I also put some hooks up here, just testing out the placement. I like it so far, but I kind of want to also include something a little bit bigger for my coat, because the coat sits a little bit too close to the wood stove. So we'll figure that out eventually, but for now I'm really happy with that. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a beautiful sunny day. We're gonna get a lot of work done today, but before we do, I want to talk a little bit about these awesome boots that Jack sent out. Jack's been like a, well, I've got a few of them, like uncles and aunts, you know, that really kind of look out for me. They send a lot of messages. They are just, you know, they're big supporters of mine, and Jack saw me trudging around in my $15 boots and thought he could do better. So big thank you to Jack. Big thank you for the socks that also came with these. And big thank you to you guys who have been hitting up the wish list. I got a few items I want to show you. So this is the circuit panel so far. I've got some thicker wires, some thinner wire. I've got this great big wire over here, which I just left hooked up to anything. But that's going to change because Bryce hit up the wish list and sent out a few of these outlets, or I should say inlets. So this is a 30 amp inlet, and I've also got a nice little 110 inlet that I'm also going to put in. I'll put the 110 one inside here for just small things that I want to run, to charge up a battery bank in an emergency, and then I'll put the big one outside for the generator. Eventually I'll also wire a 220 connection. I don't know why, but I can, so I'm going to, and we'll figure that out eventually. But in the meantime, I want us to do some sunny day work, so let's get to some sanding. Alright, so we got the sanding kind of squared away. Unfortunately, the beam I'm sitting on has got to get out of here before I can finish this. Luckily, the new beam that's going in here is about 3.5 inches shorter, so I should have ready access even if I got the new beam in all the way. So I'll just stain and varnish up here, and hopefully I can blend it nicely down here later on. I just really want to get this done so that I can really do the Sikaflex around all the windows, so that I can seal this up, and every time it rains, this area will stay dry. I'm spreading it not with Folgers, but cedar colored Cetal 1. Já, og tóknum þar kallt, já, og tóknum þar kallt. Ef við það að fá að fall, þorir ekki að kalla hjálp. Því ég held ég geti allt, var fyrir aftan, nú fyrir framan. Elska að tala, get ekki svara, horfa að stara, byrja að hata, kunni ekki annað, varst það glata, wow. Get ekki rata, líður svo illa ég kannski satan. Svo myndi tapa, svo ég held áfram það til ég gata. Allt mér tek mér fyrir hendur, það mér takast. Var frekar sár, en nú ég ákveðum bata. Alright, we got it. Stain, varnish, mainly on the outdoor parts, mainly because I want to get Sikaflex. That means I also need to put on some primer, so let's do that next. Okay, it's cooling down. I am out of dry surfaces to coat in paint, so we're going to let that dry off this evening, and we'll get back to it tomorrow. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more sunshine. These days are kind of rare though, so do what we can. Alright, well, I don't know where the day went, but we got some good work done today, including several coats of varnish and stain, and I'm starting to see the color up front, which is really good. So I'm starting to see a future in which this boat is the color I want it to be, and it stops looking like a barge. It's very soon, we're getting there. I want to give a huge thank you to Jack and Bear and all my aunts and uncles on that I've met through YouTube and Patreon and all. You guys have been supporting me a lot. Want to give a huge thank you also to everyone who's been hitting the wish list, because it's all those like little things, a nickel and dime me to death. Like the wiring and the terminals and little lights, and I mean, there's just a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of little damn things. And for those of you who are happy to hit that wish list before I put that in the shopping cart, thank you so much. And you know, it always brightens my day when something shows up I wasn't expecting, and it just shows up in the mail, and I get to jump into another project. So anyways, just wanted to say that I'm thankful. I'm also very cold, so I'm gonna get warm, and we're gonna start this whole cabal again tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching, guys. Good night.